Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is that irregular hunter himself, Kyle JCRB Krause.
I am very irregular. How's it going, Ian?
No, you're the irregular hunter.
Oh,
hunter.
Okay, I hunt irregularity. It's good. I am Fiberman. Hunting irregularity wherever it can be found.
Moving on very quickly. No, bad word choice.
That's just always what I've thought whenever I've seen that they're called irregulars in Mega Man X. It's like, oh boy, why are they called that?
I never took it there.
Really? Because that's the first place I took it. Maybe that just says something about me.
Well, aside from that aspect of your life, how are you, sir?
I'm very regular. How's it going? I'm okay. I'm all right.
Highbrow humor.
We are doing this for a little behind the scenes action. This episode's been getting this episode off the ground has been a bit of a struggle. So
we legit had to kill the Sigma virus to get this even recording.
We truly did. We actually had to beat Mega Man X in order to record this show. I got my computer encrypted by some malware that was like, give us 1 million bitcoins or beat Mega Man X, and you can have your computer back. And it's like, well, I could probably beat Mega Man X. I don't have 1 million bitcoins. Sorry.
It's a good thing it was you and not me. Otherwise, I'd have to be farming bitcoins right now.
Oh, boy. Well, you'd be taking a couple years. Anyway.
Faster than me getting through X. Anyway. This show is going to be coming out after San Diego Comic-Con, which I sadly could not attend. But it is being recorded after the fact that we had the Sonic, what do they call it? Open house, round table, town hall. You come, they talk Sonic, you ask questions. That thing.
Sonic panel? Yes.
Yeah, that thing. And pretty low-key, but, announced the new character, Whisper the Wolf. Announced the big story arc that's going to be wrapping up year 1, which is Battle for Angel Island. Showed off the Sonic Team Racing tie-in that IDW is going to be doing. Got some Q&A done with Izuka-san himself, including the startling revelation for everybody but me, because I already knew this, that Mighty, Ray, and the Hooligans all count as classic exclusive characters. So there you go.
Cool.
And
I guess. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
Well, if you want to see them in the comic as it is, it's bad because you can't.
Right.
The IDW comic is modern Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
But as I explained on Twitter to folks, even with this in place, given the rate that we're going through the books, we probably wouldn't see Mighty and Ray this year anyway, because there's a lot of characters to go through.
Yeah.
And we've been going through at breakneck pace anyway, just to get to them. So, it is what it is. As I've said, no today could be yes tomorrow. Yes today could also be no tomorrow. That's... So, don't stress over it. Enjoy what we got, and we move ahead.
I would have liked to have seen Mighty and Ray in a modern setting, but whatever. Whatever, Sega. Jeez, I just like these characters. Can't I have them? Is that not allowed?
Personally, I'm kind of interested to see where they take this classic and modern split. And
True.
If you're going to define it with, very specific cast characters, that's a good way to say, look, this is distinctly its own thing.
That's a good point.
Which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And if it means that they're putting more emphasis behind the classic brand, that means we're probably all that much closer to a Mania 2, which is not a bad thing in any way whatsoever. So if we can't have Mighty and Ray in the comic, but we get a Mania 2, I think that's a good trade. That's not even a monkey paw thing.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I will happily take it.
I'm just ready for more 2D Christian Whitehead developed Sonic games. I mean, if that's what it takes, I'll accept it.
I will sacrifice that armadillo on the altar.
It's okay. It's okay. We still got Blaze over in the 3D continuity, so it's all good. Although I would like to see her in the 2D continuity as well, but whatever. It's a Sonic continuity. It's like worrying about, I don't know, something you shouldn't worry about.
It's like trying to find a single strand of spaghetti. It's
a video game. It should really just relax. But
anyway, let's help the listeners relax by assuaging their trepidation and their anticipation over who today's Bumble raffle winner is.
All right, let's do it, Ian. Let's do it to it, as a certain blue hedgehog would say.
And this episode's winner is...
Sin Fritz!
Congratulations, Sin. If you want to be as cool as Sin, you can write us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com to enter into any episode that you want to be eligible for. But if you're a patron, you can relax because you're automatically entered into every single drawing.
Indeed. And hey, I think Sin is a winner again. He's a previous winner.
Yep.
So
like a year or two ago?
A while ago. So congratulations, Sin. He is also one of the ones who hangs out during our streams too. So
yep.
He's cool. He's cool. Sin is cool. Thanks, Sin. And enjoy the thingamabobber. Whatever it is. It's a thingamabobber.
Now, we're going to be switching gears from one blue mascot video game hero to another one. And while our topic is going to be specifically about one aspect of it, there was a bit of news coming out of San Diego Comic-Con, and that was the first full, straight-up, in-your-face, here's what it is, trailer for Mega Man Fully Charged, the latest iteration of classic Mega Man.
Yes.
By the same folks who brought us the Ben 10 juggernaut that will not die.
That's why that art style looks familiar.
You saw the trailer, right, Kyle?
Yes.
What'd you think?
I didn't hate it. I don't know what to really think about it. I mean, I can't tell if it's the art style or just the level of graphical fidelity that it had, but it was kind of It didn't look very good. And I'm not sure what the problem was for me.
See, I'm on the other end of the spectrum.
But I liked the the characterization and the look.
Mm-hmm,
I kind of like the whole idea behind it, but I don't know. I don't know. What did you think?
I am much more positive about it now than when it was first announced.
I think it looks better than when it was first announced. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
I will say that. It does look a little bit more like actual what Mega Man should look like.
I like the fact that Rock sounds like a child.
Yeah, he does.
I like that bright-eyed, very firmly defined, a hero does what's right mentality.
Yeah, I like his characterization, and I like the voice they went for him.
I dig the humans and robots can live in peace thing. That's a little more X territory, but this is a new Mega Man, and it was when I was writing the classic comic, there was a little bit of a struggle to find a larger theme moving on without stepping on X's toes. So
right,
don't really fault them there.
And that I was gonna say it is a similar story to kind of what you explored in the comics, because and I think that's really kind of the way to go for Mega Man, is because obviously there's a lot of strife between the fact that there's robots in existence and there's just, they cause a lot of damage and they cause a lot of destruction and they're being used for very bad things, but there's also good robots. So, kind of balances, it's that whole counterbalancing thing between good and evil, but it's also, a little bit of I suppose, modern commentary.
Yeah.
So.
I also dig the armor transformations when he switches weapons. That's pretty nifty looking.
Mm-hmm.
Do not know what's going on with the tiny Mega Man in his head. That's still kind of raising a question mark for me.
That is a little weird.
I'm hoping that I'm assuming it's Rush we see in the trailer. That's just like his de-armored form, and he'll get something a little closer to his usual red armor because he looked kind of meh in the current design. But overall, I was really iffy going in with the initial designs. And I don't know, this looks pretty good. And there's going to be some rocky starts to the animation because season 1 is never...
That's right. Right.
I mean, you compare season 1 of anything to what they could do by the 3rd or 4th season, and it looks completely different.
Right.
So, and it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. So...
Well, no, it wasn't like immediately repulsive. I was just kind of like, maybe I could kind of get into it at some point. Maybe, but I don't know. It just still looked a little weird to me. But granted, it is only a minute. We've only gotten a minute-long trailer, so it's not like I don't have like a full episode. I'll definitely give it a chance when it comes out.
Totally wild over some of the Robot Master designs, but it's not really for me, is it? It's for the next generation.
Right.
It's for the kiddies to get into Mega Man, and if that's what they dig, then all right, fine, whatever. Welcome to the fold.
Sure. Yeah. But I don't mind that. I just was like, maybe I'm just like, I kind of have that nostalgia for the old, designs. And I look at the comics, the way they looked in the comics and the comic designs, and I'm like, man, that would be perfect look for a cartoon. It could even make that 3D and it would be perfect. But at the same time, a new interpretation is, I'm always open to a new interpretation of something. So
sure,
it's all good.
I will give it. About it.
I will definitely give it a shot. My initial impressions were like, that art. I don't know if it's the art style or just the fact that it's first season level 3D graphics that are kind of janky and kind of flat and plain, especially for like the backgrounds and stuff. But who knows? Maybe something will change at launch, or they'll get better over time. We'll see.
Yep. Another bit of news that was trickling out, more of a rumor than news, is the Japanese soundtrack for the Mega Man X series has been coming out. And curiously enough, among the track listings, there's a statement or phrase in there that translates roughly to X's battle is not over.
Okay.
Which folks are going, is that a hint that we got an X9 in the works? Because the Mega Man X Legacy Collection just came out. The soundtrack is to coincide with it. And we are getting Mega Man 11 right now. With that and the push of the new TV series, could we maybe be seeing X9?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, eight ended on a cliffhanger.
Yes. And
if we're getting a sudden resurgence of the Blue Bomber, maybe.
The thing about Mega Man X is that I frequently hear that, like, even from casual fans or people who like no longer paying attention to Mega Man really, but they played Mega Man when they were a kid or whatever, they always preferred Mega Man X. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe Capcom is actually glomming onto this and being like, okay, Mega Man X is clearly appeals to a broad swath of people, so we need to get on that. Because I always hear Mega Man X is the best, which I will not disagree with. But they hadn't really seemed to gone back to it. It was always to go back to classic series, which I also love the classic series, but Mega Man X just seems to be the one people gravitate towards. And Mega Man X is still considered one of the best platformer games of all time, so they would be kind of silly not to go back to the series at some point. So hopefully they do.
But that leads us into our main topic, which is the Mega Man X series itself. And just general, hey, you remember that? That was cool.
Hey,
that was fun.
Hey, remember the 90s? I do. Oh, wait, never mind. boy,
God, I wish we'd gotten an X comic. Oh, we were wanted it so bad.
Ian, can we travel back in time and make some changes? I don't know what changes we'll make, but we can make some changes. We can make some secret changes. I don't know.
Where did you start with the series?
We can slide people a little more money. I started with Mega Man X, the original. I had a friend who had it, and I never played a Mega Man game before, and I played Mega Man X, and my tiny little kid mind was thoroughly blown to pieces all over the room. At the same time, he also had Mega Man 7, which also blew my tiny little kid mind into pieces all across the room.
Oh, wow.
I don't think Mega Man 7 holds up quite as well as Mega Man X does these days. But at the time, it was cool. I don't know. I'd never played. Mega Man 7 was my first Mega Man game, my first Mega Man Classic game. So I hadn't experienced any of the first 6. And seeing that and playing it for the first time, I was like, holy crap, this game is freaking awesome. And then Mega Man X and all that was freaking awesome too. And it's like, I love this Mega Man thing. It's freaking great. How did I miss out on 6 others of these? And it took me forever to actually get back to playing those. Where did you start, Ian?
Hard to say. I think the first Mega Man I played was Revenge of Dr. Wily on the Game Boy. And
okay, so like 2 or 3 or whatever, 4?
Yeah,
one of those.
I think that was the second one.
It's one of those, yeah.
And it was on a class trip, and somebody loaned me their Game Boy, and they put in like the full roster, the full armory, final level passcode. So I basically went into Wily Castle with all the guns, not knowing anything about Mega Man. And that is a steep, steep learning curve.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
Yeah, I can imagine.
As for X, the first one I did was X1, where I have the ignoble notation of having legitimately died to Chill Penguin more than once.
I'm sure I did that too.
I usually, whenever I tell people that's about how good I am at Mega Man, they come in with a knowing smile, because Mega Man's hard.
It is.
All versions of Mega Man are pretty darn tough, for the most part.
Let me be real with you. I ain't never beaten Mega Man X without save states. And even then,
usually when I say, "Yeah, Chill Penguin beat me," their face falls, and there's this kind of, "Oh, you're that bad. I'm so sorry."
Do you also lose to Glass Joe and Punch Out?
I think I have, actually, yes.
Okay, I've lost to Glass Joe too, but that's during the champion mode in the Wii version. So the harder version.
I want to say it was champion. No, I never got to champion mode. No, I legit lost a base level Glass Joe.
Oh, it's okay. Ooh. It's okay, Ian. TV lag is a hell of a thing. We'll blame it on that.
Don't patronize me.
Okay. I won't.
Next.
Everyone else will patronize you on patreon.com/BumbleKast.
Nicely done, sir.
Please go patronize us over there.
As for the second X I played, I think I jumped ahead to X8. I don't remember how I got access to X8, but that was, having gotten sort of used to X1, X8 was very, very different.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
Did not do too well there either.
That's okay. I like X8, to be honest with you. Is that allowed? Am I allowed to like X8?
Yeah, I think there's redeemable parts to it.
I know I'm not allowed to like X7, which is fine because I don't. But X8 is fine. I like X8. I like that you can play as
neat ideas.
I like that you can play as the navigators. That's neat. Even though it's a real pain to unlock them, I do like the fact you can do that, and that's the way I normally play it these days. Whenever I go back to it, which is very rare, but when I do, it's like, okay, navigator mode, sweet. I'm down. I'll play as Layer and Alia. It's all good.
I'm just tickled that the final battle is fighting a bunch of Sigma clones on the moon. It's so anime, and it's just like,
well, yeah,
dumb. This is fun.
It's Mega Man, of course.
Now, granted, I didn't do that. I've watched other people do it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have seen them navigate those hallways of spikes going, how? This is not a tool-assisted run? Okay, fine, whatever.
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend playing that.
I tried to dabble in one of the Battle Network games, but there's too much going on for me to follow.
Yeah, me too.
I watched Aaliyah go up against the base fight in the Undernet, and I'm like, how do you move that fast? She's like, oh, that was terrible. I died. But I'm like, you were pressing buttons and doing things I don't understand. Everything's flying across the screen. It was cool looking, but I have no idea what you were doing.
For some reason, I've never really gotten into anything other than Classic and X. I did play through Mega Man Legends 1, and I did enjoy it, but after that, I never really went any further with it. And I've tried Zero, and Zero's okay. I don't dislike it, and I've tried ZX, and it's okay. I don't dislike it. I've tried Battle Network, and it's alright, but it's an RPG, so I'm kind of get easily bored and go play something else because it's a turn-based RPG, and yeah, that's really kind of it. I think X and
Classic turn-based; it's active battle.
Well, true. Okay, I just kind of I don't know, man.
It's very active later on.
I just play these games. I don't know what they are. It's been a long time since I've played Battle Network anyway, so. But, yeah, I kind of gravitate back towards X and Classic for some reason. It's just, I don't know. I've always liked them the most. Especially X. I think X is something we're both pretty, we both have a pretty big connection to.
Sure.
I know I do, at least.
I mean, Classic set up the formula. I mean, it is the basis for pretty much any platform shooter that has come since.
Right.
And X was just the sexy refinement of Classic.
Right.
You move faster, you jump better, you shoot bigger, the sprites are prettier. You get just enough of the edge to make you feel like, oh, I'm playing a more adult game if I just ignore that the baboon is covered in neon lights. And you know, it's...
Who says a baboon covered in neon lights can't be adult? Come on. This is important stuff, man. You can't just dismiss it. This is making a statement about humanity.
Yeah, that statement is die, Zello.
Yes.
Did you ever play a command mission?
Yes, I did, and that's another one where I want to like it, and I'm still... This is way too many battles. Why are there so many battles? Why are there so many battles, and why is it always the same thing? But there are some mechanics I like, and I do like a lot of the characters in it. Especially Nana. Nana is freaking great. And Marino, and Cinnamon, and Spider, and everybody else. Some great characters in it, but it's just like, it's frustrating. I want it to be an action game, and it's an RPG, and I'm like, no, stop. I want to just shoot things that are in the way. I don't want to have to go through this whole rigmarole of battle systems and whatever. I don't know. This is just me and RPGs. This is how me and RPGs get along. We don't.
I kind of felt... I got kind of Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars vibe off a command mission insofar as, you know, you start off in the familiar territory and then you're playing as the central protagonist with the original characters in your party. Right. And then you get Zero and Axel back, and it's like, okay, these are my party guys now. That's it.
Yeah.
See everybody else. Yeah. Unless you want to send them to, like, heal everything, but...
Yeah. I understand that, yeah. Yep. But Command Mission, it's not a bad game, for sure. It's just, I don't know, not my speed, I guess.
That, and I really dug the update to X's armor.
I do like the character designs, and that includes, X's armor.
I just felt like he got kind of plain compared to everybody else, especially by the end of the X series, with all their gems and pectoral armor plates and spiky hair and extra bells and whistles, and I felt like the Command Mission X did a good job of maintaining his core look while updating him to that kind of busy, the crayon box melted on my character design look that so many of them have.
Right. Oh, if you look at, it's weird though, because apparently Command Mission is supposed to take place in the far-flung future, at like the same time Mega Man Zero is supposed to take place. So we got a split timeline, split continuity thing going on here, and it's like, well,
you gotta kind of take Command Mission
weird.
as its own thing.
Yeah,
since
right.
The island they're on invented the new generation Reploids, except Axel's the prototype to the new gens, and nobody from X8 came from there. And
it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Part
of the reason I really wanted to get an X book is I wanted to slowly but surely untangle the knot that is the X storyline. And eventually I realized there would get points where you have to just break out the scissors and go, okay, this is the comics version of the story.
Right.
This is how we're telling it.
Uh-huh.
Because once you get to X5, you just forget it. It really doesn't work. You can do some mental gymnastics. There's tons of fanning out there to make it work, but when you get down to what's the core presented material, nope. Sorry.
Yeah, well, X5 is the split off point because it's just, I guess, intended to end at X5, and
well, yeah. I should say X6 is probably where things get really muddy, but
right, yeah, X6 definitely muddies the waters quite a bit.
You know, X5 happens, Zero seals himself away, wakes up in Mega Man Zero. No, wait, he woke up in X6 and kept going. So he'll go to sleep later.
It's Zelda. Yeah. It's like Zelda split timeline. You have Mega Man X's split timeline too. Sure, why not? And then, of course, we have original Mega Man and all the original cast completely unaccounted for in X, and any sort of fan theories about where they are and what they're doing or what happened to them have been mostly blown out of the water by word of God.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going on there.
One of the ideas I was toying with was that instead of, the cataclysm or anything that dramatic, just take a page out of our own history, and the Robot Masters and their ilk just became obsolete and forgotten. I mean, Look at how fast we tear through technology today. How many times do people return their perfectly good cell phones? Technology that would have been magical 20 years ago is disposable now.
Right.
So, sure, we look at the idea of walking, talking robots as just, how would you even think about recycling or retiring or getting rid of them? These are amazing. These are precious babies. And by that point in that society, it might just be, fireman's past his due date. Boop, into the dumpster. And that's where they all went. They all got recycled. And it's so sad because that's the callousness of human nature. Why do you fight for them, X? They care nothing for you.
Sigma was right all along. Hashtag Sigma was right.
Man, what if it would be bleak as all get out if 9 happens and that's where they take it?
The future of Twitter is hashtag Sigma was right. That's future Twitter.
You fight for the humans, but they'll forget you, X.
That's future Twitter. It's future. In the future.
Shoot, they should have gone for that instead of the whole "you're the key to our evolution" nonsense.
Yeah, right. They should have. It doesn't make any sense. Yours makes more sense. I like yours better. They should have used that.
In the divergent timeline that spins out of X5 that leads to 0, we'll say that's it. I don't know.
Yeah, and who knows what happened between X5 and 0. They say again it's like some sort of cataclysmic event. It's like, how many cataclysmic events can this world go through? Jeez. It's like, come on. This world's been blown to bits several times. I mean, just calm down. You don't need to kill everything every time you start a new series. But yeah, I do. I can kind of see. I can definitely see like just technology marches on. It's just like, well, robots are no longer needed. Like maybe robots became mechanoloids. Because we had a lot mechanoloids in Mega Man in the X series. And then from there, Reploids were discovered, and then all hell broke loose. Like, we'd finally figured out the robot problem, and we had mechanoloids, and like, all right, everything's good, everything's peaceful, and then Reploids show up and wreck it all, and it's like, damn it!
All because Dr. Kane, Mr. I'm an archaeologist, finds X and goes, hey, this is pretty cool. Let me try to copy it.
Mr.
I'm missing a key component. Well, what can it hurt? I'll just make a bunch of them.
Mr. I'm old and I'm an archaeologist. I know robotics. I know a thing or two about robotics. Because I'm old.
I guess I'll be part of the government now. No, Kane, just sit down.
Because I'm old. I'm old and I know about robots, though. Because I'm cool. Am I cool? Can I be cool? Because I know about robots?
It's like you're like old man owl out of the Sonic OIB.
It's like you are an archaeologist. You know about rocks, dude. You know about old things in the dirt. You don't know about robots. Put that thing away. Give it to someone who knows what they're doing. See what you've done. You've started World War III, you idiot.
Now, if we do get an X9, part of me hopes that they actually start getting into the Elf Wars and bridge the gap between X and Zero. I know this is asking too much, because if they do an X9, they're more than likely going to pull a Mega Man 11 and just continue the franchise rather than wrap it up. Because once you put that end cap on, what are you going to do?
Right, you can't go.
If people want more of the game, then you've written yourself into a corner, which I can appreciate. But see, when Mega Man 10 was announced and they had the bad box art variants,
yeah,
and you had Proto Man with the long flowing blonde hair,
he looked like Zero. Yes,
and he looked like Zero, and it's Mega Man 10, and the common misconception was Mega Man X was the Roman numeral 10. I'm like, oh man, is this it? Are they going to bridge the gap? Is this going to be the classic to X? No, it wasn't.
No,
not even remotely. Although it does introduce Robo-Enzo, which is a component to the what would become the Sigma virus. So it's kind of.
Yeah,
it's a footnote at least.
Sure, they were kind of maybe laying some of the groundwork, but then they were like, "Oh, nope, Robo-Enzo is not the Sigma virus. What are you talking about? Why would that be that way? That's dumb." And then, well, whatever, fine.
Now, with Mega Man 11, we are apparently going to get some insight into Dr. Light and Dr. Wily as younger men.
Okay.
There's actually art floating around somewhere of them without their facial hair.
I'm scared.
Looking younger. It's spooky.
That is weird. I thought it would just be like brown instead of white or something.
No. They're fully clean shaven.
Oh, weird.
And the story, at least in part, revolves around an old invention of Dr. Wily's, which I think what's been put out there is that Dr. Light finds it and basically cribs it to power up Mega Man so he can take on the next batch of Robot Masters. So I'm wondering if they might do something more with that. Because it really looks like they're putting a ton of effort into this. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
So it would be really cool if we're actually kind of going somewhere with this. At the same time, like I said, if we get to the point where they find Zero 1.0, which is a funny thing to say, that's it. You know, we're moving into the, 100 years between Classic and X?
Yeah, about that. It's 100 XX years.
Okay. So it's, I don't know, the lore master in me wants all my T's crossed and I's dotted. I want to know where everything fits. It doesn't have to be like a specific day by day, but I finally want those answers. And the other part of me goes, no, we just got the franchise back. We wheeled out the defibrillator. Clear.
We must treat it with care. We must treat it with kid gloves. We must keep it safe and precious. So Capcom,
second chance.
So Capcom doesn't rip it away from us again.
So I feel bad wishing, for the cataclysm to come just for my own sake. So,
yeah, it's fine. We can go back and fill in the gaps between other games. It's not like there's anything that you can't do that with.
Self-contained arc. 1 through 4 is
done. Right, yes. I mean, the original series or X, you can fill in the gaps.
There's, I forget how much time there is between 0 and ZX.
I think it's like another 100 years or something. Or like,
Yeah,
no. Maybe it's like 200 or 300 years, something like that. I know Legends is like far flung, like several thousand years in the future, even maybe.
So goodness only knows where the Reaver bots came from and all that jazz.
Yeah, right.
So there would be plenty of room to play there. But once you've gotten to that point, the ZX to Legends gap, you're so far away from Classic. Barely Mega Man anyway. Might as well be a new IP.
Sure, I suppose.
Yes! A time portal opens up, and Mega Man gets flung into the Reaver era, and that explains why he isn't around for X. Ha-ha! Oh!
That could be interesting. That could be an interesting twist on things.
And then, by the end of that series, you wrap it up, and if you get 100%, you get a post-credit scene where he lands on the moon to rescue Volnut. And that would be really fanficky, but I put it out there anyway.
I kind of wonder if a new Mega Man X game might be kind of a throwback style, like Mega Man 9 and 10 were. It like goes back to kind of a 16-bit, maybe like an enhanced 16-bit.
Sure.
I
prefer that.
Thinking of like Octopath Traveler on the Switch, which is sort of an enhanced 16-bit look. I think.
Yeah.
Just not in that style, not Mega Man X in the style of Octopath Traveler, obviously, but although that could be interesting. But more like just in like the idea of having a 16-bit yet enhanced with some modern effects and stuff. I think that would
be now that you say that,
I think that would be really freaking cool.
Imagining an Octopath-styled Mega Man X would be pretty sick looking. So
it would be cool. It would be really freaking cool.
Let's not discount that.
Yeah, I'm kind of down with that idea. I don't mind. I don't mind that. But
I mean, maybe not as muddy as some of the Octopath sprites are, but clean it up a bit.
Sure. But I mean, Octopath is still intended to kind of invoke that.
Sure.
Invoke that 16-bit era, but it obviously has some modern touches that I think a Mega Man X game could also benefit from. So I think that would be really interesting. Really cool.
I wouldn't be wholly opposed to an X9 following the trend that 7 and 8 set.
Oh,
because I feel like we've come far enough in 3D graphics and platforming in a 3D space that they could do it better.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going back to more of the X8 formula, revisiting that over X7, but you could probably do some interesting. You could probably do some interesting things with X7's gameplay and actually improve it. So,
I just feel like 3D models trying to ape the movement styles of 2D sprites never works. It never looks right.
No, at least very rarely. You there?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
You just got real quiet or cut out or something. I don't know.
No, I was waiting for you to finish your sentence.
Oh, that was it.
Oh, okay.
That was it. I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. You think we've kind of exhausted this topic, Ian?
Oh, we could wax philosophical about X for days on end, but it's time we move on to some Q&A.
We truly could, but yep, we do have a load of Q&A to drop on you guys, so... Don't forget, though, if you want to ask some questions, you can email us, BumbleKast@yahoo.com. Hit us up on Twitter @BumbleKast. Down in the YouTube comments below the video version of the show, or on Patreon via comments or direct messages to us. First priority Q&A question comes from none other than Eric F. What is he meaning of life? I'm pretty sure he meant the meaning of life, but, you know, I'm just reading what's written. Ian, what's the meaning of life?
42.
Is it Mega Man X? No, okay. It's 42. It's
42, which translates into ASCII as asterisk, which translates into anything.
ASCII? Right? You're the first person I know of who pronounces it that way.
Well, however you want to say it. ASCII.
ASCII, yes. That's it. That's correct. ASCII.
Life is what you make of it.
All right, Doc Brown. Your future is what you make of it. Okay, Doc Brown.
There is no fate but what we make for ourselves.
Except for maybe the fate of the furious. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why that came to me immediately. But...
I can't really refute that either, so there you go.
Okay, cool. That's excellent. There you go, Eric. I hope that satisfies your question. Next comes from good old Scruffymatt. What are your thoughts on the removal of the Sega All-Stars from the next Sonic racing game? Would you prefer the All-Stars to come back, or are you happy that a larger portion of the Sonic cast is getting a chance to shine?
I don't know. I'm kind of half and half on it, because Team Racing is not All-Star Racing number 3. It has a very clearly defined team aspect that makes it different from the other games.
Yeah, technically it isn't supposed to be All-Stars 3. But at the same time, I still want my ages, dang it. My Daytona car. I need that. I need my Hornet. I need my Hornet, and I need my Dreamcast boat, and I need my F-14. Come on.
I mean, so insofar as it's a new game with a different gimmick, I can understand why they focused on nothing but Sonic, especially since that team dynamic is already kind of ingrained ever since Heroes.
Right, yes.
On the other hand, I am disappointed because I really, really dug the All-Star series, especially the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like the first game's tracks were more fun overall, but the second one, the quick switching of the vehicles was really super cool, and the variety of stages is really cool, and we got Vice, my boy, in the game, so that right there kind of pushes it past everything else. And that Skies Arcadia track, oh, good. I actually lost the race because I was busy pointing out the various ships in the sky. It's like, oh, it's that one! Hit that one! Oh, look! And, but, I don't know. It looks, I mean, we know Sumo Digital is going to do a fantastic job with it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So it's going to be fun. We know that.
Yeah.
We can go take that to the bank.
We already know that they've solidified a very good racing gameplay engine just from the other two games, and that will translate very well to this, and it's going to be fun. But at the same time, the Sega fan in me is like, well, I still like the other Sega stuff. I want more of that too. I want I want this. I want Sonic, but I also want more Sega. I just like Sega. Come on, Sega, you gotta give me more love for more of your franchises. Come on, you need to throw some like Thunder Force in there and stuff. I know that is technically a Treasure franchise, but Sega owns the rights to it now, so you gotta do it, Sega. Come on.
Plus, there's an aspect to it that I can't talk about that I'm really interested in seeing in person. I know it's there, I just don't know a lot of details about it, and I'm really curious about how I might be able to play with some of that. So, hashtag knowing smile.
I'm also just happy overall and really looking forward to hearing Jun Sunaway back as the main composer for it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, okay, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna come up with for this game? Because we haven't heard much from him in a while. I guess since like Sonic 4, which, I mean, Sonic 4 doesn't fare very well in my opinion. I think mainly it's the instrumentation of it more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think because, well, we're back in a 3D Sonic, we're back in real instrument world, we can actually have some freaking guitars and it's gonna freaking rock.
And it's a racing game, so you know he can just go all out with it.
Yeah. It's gonna be another freaking classic from June, I hope. I'm hoping. So yes, that has me very excited. And let's get into the standard Q&A. This one comes from Antonio V. Since Cream and Cheese can't really fight in battles, are there ways for her to still be useful, i.e. being a support character?
See, if we can get Cream and Cheese back in the book, I want them to be active members. I mean, she was active in Heroes, she was active in the Advanced series.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they are, by characterization, not frontline soldiers, but dang it, I don't want them to be sitting on the sidelines just being support. So,
I think there are certain things you can do with them.
There is, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I do want them in the book more, because I really like her dynamic with Amy.
Yeah, teaming her up with Amy and the two of them with Blaze, I think they're the dynamic of those three. They complement each other really well.
Yeah,
I definitely like that dynamic. All right, next one comes from Nicholas J. Back in the Archie Sonic comic series, there were 4 brides of 4 clans: Bride of Rich Night, Bride of Constant Virgil, Bride of Endless Reach, and Bride of Conquering Storm. And I was wondering about who's good and who's bad. I believe that Bride of the Conquering Storm is good. I also believe that Rich Nights and Constant Virgil were probably good too, but I'm wondering about Bride of Rich Nights. I think they're... Okay. That is what it says. Do you kind of understand this question, Ian?
Yeah, I'm kind of chuckling at the typo of Constant Virgil and Constant Vigil.
Constant Virgil. Yeah, okay. I like Constant Virgil. It's constantly Virgil.
The core of the question is, of the 4 brides, which were good, which were bad?
Yeah, which were good and evil. Yeah.
And it's not that clean cut. They were all intended to be, to some degree or another, antagonistic.
Yeah, that was kind of what I got out of at least their initial appearance. Like,
Conquering Storm was straight up power hungry.
Yeah.
Not in the same way Lian Da was, who would, walk over anybody to get what she wanted. Conquering Storm would work and fight and scrape for what she wanted. And she would kick your teeth in if that's what it took, but she would earn it. She would go for it. So there was a sense of honor there. And her priority would be protecting her clan. But she would still go to war over anything and everything just to do what she thought was right. In her mind, might was right.
Yeah.
So that's not really good, but it's not really bad either. Rich Nights was going to be really petty and greedy, but she died, so that's pointless.
Rich Nights kind of makes sense. Constant Virgil.
We'll get her to say Endless Reach. There we go. Their whole thing about watching the fates and predicting how things should go was supposed to be kind of ambivalent, but if they thought the web said that Sonic had to die because that's how it was prophesized, they'd go after him. If the web said Eggman is the ultimate path to peace in the universe, they would support him. Mm-hmm. They weren't really like good or bad. They were driven by their beliefs towards their end goal, and whether or not that was good or bad for the heroes would be up in the air, depending on the story.
Sure.
As for Constant Vigil, of all the brides, she would be the closest to a straight-up good, because of her connection to Espio. But kind of like Conquering Storm, her focus would be on maintaining her clan and maintaining peace in the region, no matter the cost. So sometimes that means somebody just doesn't get to wake up tomorrow morning, if you know what I'm saying. She was pragmatic, and she wasn't like mustache-twirling evil, because chameleons don't have facial hair. That's just weird. Don't cite where they do in the comic. I don't care. It's wrong. But she, just because she's Espio's mom, and yes, I know we never outright said it, but it's pretty clear what we were going at, didn't make her, instantly good. So there is no real good or evil amongst them, but they all could have been potentially antagonistic characters.
Spoiler alert. Is that going to end up being a story on Sonic Stadium? Tune in and find out.
Consider it a preview chapter to Lost Hedgehog Tales.
Turns out Endless Reach is the mom of Espio.
Not Endless Reach, Constant Virgil.
Okay, Constant Virgil. I'm sorry. We're not making fun of you, Nicholas. We're just making fun of the typo. No. Constant Virgil is it's entertaining. I like it. All right, next question comes from AV. Since the games aren't exactly canon, are they allowed to have their own stories happen differently? I know that so far Colors, Lost World, and Forces have been referenced. I assume they mean in the new comic.
Yeah. And you can assume that the game stuff generally happened like it did. But stuff like Shadow the Hedgehog with its branching paths, not all of those paths happen.
Why not?
You can pretty much assume... Kyle. You can assume the first one went because that's the first stage. You can assume the end story happened because that's the final chapter. But otherwise, it had its own story. And again, the comic is inspired by the game canon. So we can kind of cherry pick here and there what did and didn't happen, what we're referencing and what we're not. And, if something happens in the comic that doesn't quite sync with what happened in the games, that's okay, because this is not a continuation of the games. It is just a heavily inspired spin-off from that canon. It is its own thing.
Yeah. So we can't have, say, Shadow the Hedgehog be the equivalent of Ocarina of Time or Mega Man X5 and be like, okay, we have a bunch of splitting, branching paths from here that all of a sudden have spun off into their own different timelines. So what happened in this world? And I don't mean the one from Sonic 06.
Yeah, you got me right.
And what happened in this world is split off from this ending of Shadow the Hedgehog, and what happened in another world is split. And basically, we're just getting back to the freaking what's it called from old Sonic comics that I can't remember the friggin' name of now. The Inner Zone Highway thing that was dumb and like a rip off of other comics, but we won't get into that.
Hey, Kyle, there's a question here for you.
Wow. Hey, that's weird. How does that happen? That a question directly to me. That's weird.
This comes from Justin A.
Oh, okay, cool. Go ahead, Ian.
He says, where do you feel video game remixes will be in the next few decades or so? Do you think it will start to lose its niche popularity, or do you think it'll grow? Will the next generation of musicians still want to remix old games like Sonic 2, Castlevania, and Mega Man? Or will they focus their efforts on games they grew up with, like Overwatch, Uncharted, or Splatoon?
It's hard to say. Honestly, I kind of never expected video game music remixes to kind of get to where they are now and where they seem to be going as things continue on. And just the importance of video game music in general, not just remixes, but also the attention that people give to original soundtracks and all that stuff. So I never really thought that there would be a lot of more interest and more of a, even though it's still pretty niche, it has more of a following than it did. There's thousands of people that go to MagFest every year, which is a festival all about celebrating video game music and game music remixes. So I think MagFest is a pretty good indicator. It continues to grow every year. It's up like over 10,000 people now.
Holy smokes.
So they're getting quite large. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily go for the concert specifically, but there's definitely a lot of interest in that regardless. So, I think it will keep growing for a little while. I think it will start to level off, and I think we're already starting to see a little bit of that. But as far as the next generation of musicians, that's hard to say. I think there's definitely a lot of visibility of things like Sonic, especially classic Sonic games, that I think there's still a lot of interest from even younger musicians and just younger people in general who still hear the music from Sonic and are inspired by it and things like that, or classic Mega Man. Things like that are still relatively in the gaming zeitgeist, as it were. So I think that those will probably still be continued to be remixed. I already see a lot of newer games get covered. Like a good example, like I mentioned, was Splatoon. Certain other games like Uncharted is not really melodically driven musically, so it doesn't really have a good theme song to latch onto, really. There are some songs on Uncharted that are pretty good, but it's not like the imminently hummable themes of Mario or Sonic or even Splatoon. So,
Which is kind of based around music as a theme.
Right. But I think that a lot of indie games will definitely keep the fire stoked for people who are more interested in game music and just as a melodic force, because indie game music, a lot of indie game music, like for platformers and stuff, tends to follow the same or similar model to what's been set up by older 8 and 16-bit era games. So I think we'll still be seeing remixes of games like Shovel Knight, which we definitely see a lot of, and even newer games like in an older style like Octopath Traveler, which is obviously not an indie game, but it's definitely inspired by retro games. I think we'll continue to see remixes of those for sure. Whether it'll keep growing or not, it's hard to say. I think that as studio equipment and music making software and stuff has become cheaper and more accessible, it's definitely opened up the doors to a lot of people doing their own stuff at home or in smaller studio spaces where they're able to work for themselves and get more creative and distribute their own music through the internet, which has definitely helped a lot too. So I think it might level off a bit here and there, but I think it will still remain something that people enjoy and something that'll still be popular and people will still do in the future. So yeah, I have a pretty positive view on it. I don't think it'll go away overnight, for sure. So that's it. That's the last question.
Okay.
For this Q&A session. So thanks for that, Justin. I appreciate that. I hope I wasn't too rambly there.
It was music to my ears.
Oh, okay. Man, your ears are broken.
Well, before we sign off, we're going to give a big shout out to all the wonderful people who make this show possible. So thank you to Eric F., Daniel H., Alex P., Dragon Superfan, Brando, Fatoler, Scruffymatt, Chris A., John B., Sam Cybercat, Mike B., Samuel P., Jennifer R., David C., Reverend Light, Lisa M., AE Double, Brody M., Neil H., Damo, Justin F., Justin G., Dan M.S., Adam T., Silly String, DeCaro, Michael A.Q., Lee H.K., Chevelle, Don B., Sin Fritz, Taka El Gato Comics, John M., S. Yovanovich 9X, James K., Tick Tick, Papa Drip, Dappa, fell down the stairs again, Overthinking Films, Adam B.T., and Rod.
Hey, I heard some new names in there. That's cool.
Yep.
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard this crazy train, folks. I hope you're ready. It's weird. It's weird. Also, we should mention, Ian, should we mention this? We should mention that all patrons will get access to a patron hangout on Discord next week.
That's right.
We are doing a live streaming show where we'll get to hang out and chat with you guys. So be sure to come hang out in the Discord. You can get all the information over at patreon.com/BumbleKast. All patrons have access to it, even the ones who are down and as low as $1. So if you want to get access and join us for a cool patron hangout, be sure to go check that out. Patreon.com/BumbleKast.
Those same patrons can get access to our live stream every Sunday evening, where Kyle and I play video games and talk and generally have a good old time. Or in my case, flail about and hope that it's entertaining.
I saw you were playing Sonic Mania earlier this week on their Twitch, actually.
Yes, slowly but surely, we're going to get our Twitch channel up and running. That's twitch.tv/BumbleKast Gaming. We just have not had time to maintain it like we would want to, but we're taking steps to rectify that.
Indeed. And, hey, Sonic Mania is pretty fun, too. Especially the Plus DLC. I had a chance to dig into Encore mode a little bit, and I definitely enjoyed it. So I need to get back to that, but it's good. It's very good. Where can people find you?
Find you?
No, whoa! Ian, where can people find you? I said it first. It's me. It's me. I win. You get to tell me where people get to find you, okay?
Find me at bumbleking.com or on Twitter at IanFlynnBKC. Now, what about you?
Oh, okay, fine. You can find me on Twitter at KyleJCRB, where I might respond to you if you tweet at me, but I don't really read tweets too much. So, let's see. And you can also find me over at KNGI.org, where you can find archived episodes of this show in MP3 format, along with my other show, Nitro Game Injection, which is also streams live on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to also check the stream out over at kngi.org, because it's on 24/7, spinning video game music remix tunes all the time. So if you're in the mood, if you're jonesing for some VGM, but you don't quite know exactly what you want to listen to, you want to hear some remixes, some cool remixes, you can tune into that.
And if you want to continue to show us support and beyond what the patrons do, head over to the Bumble store. That's shop.spreadshirt.com/Bumble store and get yourself some Bumble swag.
And, of course, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at BumbleKast or email us, BumbleKast@yahoo.com.
That's going to wrap us up for episode 73 of the BumbleKast. We'll see you in a couple weeks where we do episode number 74. Have a good night, everybody.
That was a very poor attempt at the Mega Man X level out sound. Or wait, no, that was the classic Mega Man level teleport sound. I
understand what you were going for, though.
The X series sound is more like something like that.
Hi there, and thanks for listening to the BumbleKast. If you liked our show, be sure to hit the subscribe button and consider supporting us on Patreon. We have some great rewards as well as big plans on how to make the show even better. Also, rate and review our show on iTunes. It gets more folks listening and helps us out, so we definitely appreciate it. Original music composed by Ken Coda Snyder, used with permission. Find more of his music at bc.s3m.us and find the theme song at noisechanradio.bandcamp.com, available as a pay-what-you-want download.
Could be like Storm Eagle, though. Okay, I can't go any higher than that, so I'm not doing the next part. Were you hoping I would do the next part and sound awful and horrible and cause everybody to scream bloody murder?
I was trying to remember how the track could go so I could hop in with you, but
oh, that's fine. It took me a little while to remember how Storm Eagle went too. It could be like the level select theme. You go dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I don't know. I like that level select theme. It's fun. Or like, I like the Mega Man X title theme might be one of like the greatest title themes ever. Now that I think about it, it's one of those things where it's like freaking guitars just melting your face, and you're like, yeah, this is freaking awesome. I'm ready to freaking play Mega Man X. Yeah. And then, it's like that old Igor Raptor video, the sequelitis video for Mega Man X. He's like, this is freaking great. This is freaking cool. Riding on cars. Oh, boy. Anyway, should I stop the recording yet?
Yeah, I think we've done enough damage.
Okay.